We're back.
Remember when that's how you started all of your vlogs? Yo, we're going.
Yeah.
That's how we should episode the podcast. Yo.
I think I'm like, now I say like, hey everyone. Which is
Hi,
like
guys.
so basic, but.
I mean, it is for everyone.
You guys, welcome to our second episode. Are you so excited? I'm so excited. Wow.
Are you tickled? Are you thrilled? Compassionate? Are you... Oh my gosh.
Are you so fucking excited?
What's the words to the song? Are you... I can only remember Hypnotic Monkey Fresh.
What?
The Sierra song!
Oh my god.
Gary, help us!
Oh my god.
This is gonna bother me the whole episode.
1, 2 step. Outrageous.
It's,
Sonic.
Hypnotic Monkey Fresh.
So melodic. This beat just goes through my chest. I don't know what the first word is. Oh, anyways, this is our second episode. I think let's start with the fun topic, which I'm just thinking of right now. Our main topic is going to be about COVID and influencers and anti-maskers and like all
nasties.
like quarantine shit. But our first topic is a topic right off my head. What?
It's automatic supersonic
automatic.
Hypnotic Funky Fresh. That's stupid.
Wow.
COVID has made me stupider, but that's something else. We'll get into that later.
Our first topic is female rappers.
You just want to talk about Meg Thee Stallion.
I do.
This is the only female rapper you've ever listened to.
I listen to Nicki Minaj.
Oh, true. Iggy Fromage.
Nicki Minaj. Yes, you had. I love Megan Thee Stallion. I think that she is so... I really like her personality.
Also, why the fuck weren't y'all mad that she got shot in the foot? Why was nobody upset about that?
I was so mad. I was pissed. I was like, who the fuck did this, bitch?
Fuck Tory Lanez to his 120-pound 5'3" ass, okay?
Yes.
We're the same size.
Okay.
We are. I'm 5'3" and I'm like roughly 120 pounds.
She said, I'm pounds.
I'm not much more, okay?
No, so I love Megan Thee Stallion, and the reason I love Megan Thee Stallion is because I watched a video of her explaining her mugshot, and she seems...
I love that video.
Yeah, she seems like so personable and like just so, like, I don't know.
She's down to earth.
She's
like,
down to earth. She's very funny. She seems like a good person to hang out with.
Didn't she just like punch her boyfriend or something, or... she found out like he cheated on her or something.
Yeah,
he
found out
her phone.
Yeah, she found out that her boyfriend had a child that was like turning like 1 or 2.
And she was like, "Bitch."
Yeah, and she was like, "Bitch," and then they got into a fight, and then the police officer was like, "Oh, are you okay?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm fine," because she was lying.
Because she thought that her boyfriend would have done the same thing. Cause
yeah,
did not happen.
And then the cop asked the boyfriend. She's like, "Yeah, she hit me,"
and she was like, "Bitch."
And then she went to jail.
Better let that man go.
Yeah,
man go.
And this is unrelated, but I also think that Megan Thee Stallion kind of looks like my brother's girlfriend.
You think? Really?
If you really look at her, then the way they smile, I think they look alike. I'm gonna find a picture, but...
I know what she looks like, and I don't...
I don't think you know what she looks like.
I have seen pictures that they've been dating for literally our entire lives.
I mean, pretty much.
Basically.
I don't think you remember what she looks like, but I think they look similar. Anyways, I like Megan Thee Stallion, guys. And if you know me, and you know me, it's very hard to knock Ariana Grande. Like, that is my main stan. So it's like Ariana Grande and, like, Megan Thee Stallion.
I don't even know who, like, my number one stan is at this point. Like, I feel like I just... I don't know. I I used to stan so hard. I like... We're both, like, diehard Beyonce for so long, and then
I'm, like, not
really
into Beyonce anymore.
I don't like rapping Beyonce. I don't care what anybody says. It doesn't need to happen. It's not cute. She can't do it. Let it die.
Beehive, watch out.
Oh my god,
the Beehive's gonna fucking...
They will.
They're gonna fucking dox you. Oh my gosh.
I take it back.
I do not prefer Beyonce rapping, but I did like her on the Savage remix. But I think I liked it because
the song by itself was okay. I thought the standalone without the remix is a better version.
Yeah. But I also do like Doja Cat. I don't understand what she did, to be honest.
Are we getting into cancel culture already right now?
Oh, should we talk about cancel culture?
Because Doja Cat canceled. Oh my gosh, I was so upset. I was supposed to see her at Coachella this year.
Is she canceled? What did she do? We're talking about cancel culture now, y'all. We're going into our main topics.
Wow, that was a really good transition.
I know, wow.
Props. There's gonna be a lot of this, at least for me, because I'm just figuring this out. I look like I have no neck because I'm short. I need a big chair. But so Doja Cat, people found out that she was doing, I think, like, I don't know if they're Omegle videos or she was doing like group chats with her at like 15 or 16, basically like chastising or saying things about black men in like a sexual way and like trying to play on that and using that as like a fetish, but for non-black people, for like white people, and like playing into that as like a mixed girl. And basically she canceled. Like, people really dropped her. And you see she did like a video with James Charles and people were like, you're not getting this whole cancel thing. Like, you're not helping yourself.
I still like her music, to be honest.
Bitch, I'm a Cow is a bop, okay? I love that song. And
I like Juicy and I
listened to Juicy
so.
today, okay?
I still like, and here's the thing about cancel culture, you guys, is that it doesn't work.
It doesn't.
It doesn't work.
Look at Chris Brown.
Look at R. Kelly. Okay, look at our president.
Okay, R. Kelly kind of is, that one's a little more, Bill Cosby, cancel culture.
What do you mean R. Kelly?
R. Kelly, there are people that, like, people do not fuck with R. Kelly anymore.
Yeah, people are still, in his hometown, they're like, R. Kelly, we love you. Have you seen did you watch the documentary?
The documentary was good. I watched, like, the first 2 episodes, but I feel like they were just dragging everything out, and I kind of was like, I get the point.
Like, wrap it up, girl.
Right, and I was like, I get it. He's disgusting, and, like, he is, for sure.
Yeah. I watched the documentary, and then I watched, like, a follow-up of that. Like, it was like a newer episode. They were doing a part 2.
Yeah. They were going to do it all at once.
But as I was saying, if cancel culture was real, you guys, people would have been canceled a long time ago. And the thing is, with cancel culture, is it's so variable because there's no, like, scale of what is cancelable and what is not. So, like,
I think that there is to an extent, though.
There is, but there's not, because we don't agree. Because, like, one time, Jenna Marbles was almost canceled for, like, having a fish in, like, a dirty fish tank or something. And then she had to, like, apologize for that.
Right, or, like, what about that girl, I forget her name, but I watched, like, a documentary and an interview with her where she was, like, she was a heroin addict, and she had, like, all these exotic animals, and, like, nobody said anything about her. Right. It's a thing, look it up. She's a person, she's on YouTube, she has, like, over 1 million followers, and she has all these, like, exotic pets, and her boyfriend.
Oh, I feel like I've heard of this.
It was like a Vice video.
She like has a ton of animals.
Yeah, and like so many animals in a house, which like a lot of people are already like,
That's
why do you
disgusting.
need that many people's hunting? Why do you need that many animals? And her and her boyfriend got into like heroin, became heavy heroin addicts, and they're supposed to take care of all these animals, and you're like obviously not in the right mindset. But yeah, I feel like cancel culture is just toxic, and like at what point do you hold people accountable? Because like, would I have said something stupid in 2010 that I would say now?
Yeah. And here's the thing, is that, like, sometimes I think I agree with cancel culture, sometimes I don't. But for the most part, I think that it is variable in each kind of instance. But here's the thing, is that I think that there is something to be said about digging someone's past up to discredit like their present and like their growth.
Mm-hmm.
So like digging up someone's past, like their past tweets of 2012 and bringing it up and be like, look at this. I think that.
What are you trying to get?
Yeah, or like what are you trying to get from that? And I think that if you really want to show, well, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Well, okay, let's do this. I guess this is.
Wait, it's coming back to me.
I'm gonna see you for the next 3 minutes. Charlie comes back to him.
He was a young man.
Watch the last episode if you don't know where.
Yeah. No, what I was trying to say is that, like, yes, there's something about digging up someone's past to discredit their future, but I think that there are three big things for me to show a growth and a change of a person, which is an apology.
A real apology.
Like a real apology, growth to show that they actually changed, and then also atonement. And atonement means that like you are actively doing something to show that you are sorry, if that makes sense. Like apology is just being like sorry, you know what I mean?
Right.
But atonement, like if I hit you, I'd be like, oh sorry Latifah. But atonement would be like, oh my god, I'm sorry. Like,
I'm not gonna hit you again.
I'm not gonna hit you again. Do you need like ice for your leg that I just fucking stomped on or something? I don't know. That's atonement, okay? Those three things show a growth and a change in a person that I think that if you're trying to dig up someone's path, there are suddenly more flies than there were before.
I know. Where are they coming from?
I don't know. But those three things, I feel like if you're trying to cancel someone and they have those three things and that they show they actually change and stuff, then it's like, what are you doing? Bro?
Okay, well, let's do this then. Let's go through a list of things that are people who are potentially canceled, and do you agree with the cancel or no?
Okay.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, same. I love Chick-fil-A, but I stopped going.
I-
Recently, but I stopped going.
I've never gone to Chick-fil-A.
I love Chick-fil-A, but I don't go anymore because they said they weren't going to start. They said they were going to stop donating to like the anti-gay, anti-LGBTQ, but they didn't, and they lied, and they're not good people. And I'm sorry that I went there for so long, but I don't anymore. Gina Rodriguez.
What did she do?
She said the N-word while singing the Fuji song, and then posted it on Instagram. And then she was like, "I'm sorry if I hurt the people of color community." And I was like, "You could have just said black people."
Yeah. I don't know. What did she do? She just said she had said the N-word?
Yeah, and she had posted it, and she was like, "Oh, well, I was just singing a song."
Oh, that's like a whole nother thing. That's like a whole nother topic. The
I could live
N-word.
without her, so I was like, whatever, cool.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really know her, so.
Bill Cosby.
Oh, he's canceled.
Okay, but like that's
That's like a big thing.
Yeah, but that's also like digging up somebody's past.
Oh, no, I'm talking about like petty stuff, like
Oh, okay.
digging up like your
Tweets and
Twitter
stuff.
that you like send like a slur or something. I don't know.
Okay, so Bill Cosby, yes.
Well, because like I find that people
I guess that's
always
illegal,
advocate.
though.
Yeah, I feel like people always advocate for change, and they're like, "Oh, change happens. People change and people grow." But when people see that, they're like, they get upset. They're like, "People don't change. People don't grow.
Right,
You didn't
you
change."
want them to change, but if you never give them
It's
the
like,
opportunity,
I thought you just said that you wanted people to change. People change, but when people
doesn't
change,
matter.
yeah. So you're just getting your birthday on my birthday with a birthday present.
Bitch. What's another person that was canceled? Chris Brown.
I guess he's canceled. I don't even know. Obviously, for me, he's canceled, but obviously for other people, he's not because he's
Right,
still
like
playing.
he still had that album that came out a couple years ago. Was so long, it was like over an hour long. But no, I don't. I was guilty, and I kept listening to Chris Brown after a good while. Funny fact: I went to my first concert in the 8th grade, and it was Jingle Ball for KDWB, and Chris Brown. Or, I'm sorry, Rihanna was a main act, and Chris Brown was a surprise act. And I bought a Chris Brown T-shirt, and literally within the next week, he beat her. And I was like, I can never wear this T-shirt again, and I didn't. I was so upset because I spent like in the 8th grade $30. Was
Hey,
a lot.
concert T-shirts are expensive.
They are. I bought like 3 Beyonce concert T-shirts at the first Beyonce concert we went to. That was like $140.
Yeah.
Mistakes because I don't wear those shirts anymore. But yeah, I listened to Chris Brown for a while, and then I was like, honestly, I could do without it, and I stopped. But like, yeah, canceled, I guess. But he keeps doing things, so it's like he's not grown really. I feel maybe he has a little bit, but I feel like he hasn't enough.
I'm trying to think of an example from me.
That you like believe in the cancel culture, or you don't?
No, I'm trying to think of an example of someone being canceled because of their past, but they've grown.
Johnny Depp was kind of canceled for a hot second, and then I found out that like his wife or ex-wife,
Was like a
canceled.
big liar.
Yeah, he kind of bounced back, but he also didn't really do anything, so I guess it's not really the same either.
If you guys are like a big fan of Bon Appetit, which is like a cooking show and like a cooking magazine on YouTube, they had like this whole thing of Sola, which is one of their employees. She is African American, and she basically got on Instagram and was like, "Hey, I'm not getting paid for any of the videos that I'm in," and she was like, "I'm not getting paid, and your other what is it, BIPOC members are not getting paid for any videos that they're in," and so the whole magazine kind of like got shut down, and then they had to reevaluate their contracts. And so basically what happened is that she left, and a lot of the other video editors or the video stars left as well. And so
And they came back from that?
I don't know what's going to happen, because a lot of the video stars are leaving. And so what I wanted to say from that is that my favorite, which is Carla, she's kind of like the mom of the whole thing. I don't know what I was trying to say with this.
They're being canceled,
Well,
and they're supposed to like reevaluate and grow.
Okay, no. What I'm trying to say is that when there was like that whole thing with George Floyd and people were not speaking up, people were speaking up, there was like a whole like call out culture and call out and cancel culture of like, hey, you're not speaking up about this, you should be.
Why haven't you said anything?
Like, why haven't you said anything? Okay.
Oh, that's okay.
That's what I was trying to get at. So basically, Carla is like, okay, well, this is happening. I stand with Sola and whatever else. I'm gonna quit my job and do this. And then she's also like doing like a whole bunch of other charity work and donating. So I think that even though she was complicit in that behavior, or maybe it was unknowing to her that Sola was not getting paid, she did apologize and show atonement and growth because she was like donating to like,
she's trying to rectify the situation.
Yeah, and I saw that with a lot of drag queens, because I follow like Trixie Mattel and like Katya, who are white people, and they haven't, they weren't speaking up about it, and then people were like calling them out, and then they kind of like rectified the situation and like been like, you know what, I had to do a privilege check. I am privileged. This is something we have to be talking about, and then we're doing like a live stream and we're donating proceeds to whatever. So that was more of like a call out, like cancel culture that was happening.
Right, and I think there's a lot of that too, and I've seen it too. I think Jackie Aina called out like a lot of beauty companies, and they're like, hey, like what? Okay, you say Black Lives Matter, which is a good thing to do, I think, and what she was doing made sense. She was like, okay, you're saying Black Lives Matter and you believe in all this, but what does your company's numbers look like? How many black people do you have employed?
Yeah.
How many people of color do you have employed? Are they in high-ranking positions? Black Lives Matter is more than just a saying. It's I didn't want to get into this on this in this episode, but it's okay. It all relates. It
relates. It's tied in, yeah.
But with it, it's just kind of the worst. Okay. It's...
I don't know where these flies are coming from. They're coming from, like, everywhere.
Literally just rubbing out. God, don't think it's going to do anything.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to do anything.
But it's good to know that...
Setting spray.
Why would you waste that? That's expensive.
This is a Maybelline setting spray. I'm not using my... I don't know, Scandinavia or something. I don't have that here, but...
Anyway, but I think it's important to call people out that are saying things just to say them, because I think there are a lot of businesses.
There's a lot of like performative stuff.
Where it's like, okay, you say Black Lives Matter, and then people are like, but what about this though? Which is kind of dangerous too. But it's like,
well, what about people that are like, oh, Black Lives Matter and stuff, and then they're like, this you?
I had gotten into this and I got upset a lot. And I had to check myself, because it's not necessarily about me or my feelings, but I know that I saw people who would post things and be like, oh, Black Lives Matter. But then they would go about, and I think it's something that I struggle with because I'm a black woman, half black, half Asian woman, who I don't get to turn it off. And a lot of people were just saying it, and then they're like, I'm gonna go hiking, I'm gonna go back to my everyday life, I'm gonna go do all these things, but here's a video or here's a post about me kind of somewhat caring that I'm sharing from somebody else who is an influencer who says Black Lives Matter. And like that to me was like, don't just post it because you feel like you have to post something.
Yeah, and that thing, the Blackout
Tuesday?
That, I almost didn't do that because I was like, this is so performative, like this is, it just felt like very, like, performative for me. It felt like slacktivism in a way, where it's like, oh, post a black square, and then what? And then I felt like a lot of people posted a black square, and then it was like...
But there was no follow-up with it.
Yeah.
And I called those motherfuckers out, because I was like, you posted it, was it June 2nd was supposed to be Blackout Tuesday? And a whole month went by, and there weren't more posts. It was the same people posting and advocating. It didn't really go anywhere. So
we had to take a break because we had to download some of the videos because we ran out of space on the memory card.
Also, the camera cut me off about what I was about to say. If you post a black square and you didn't do anything, delete it. You're fake. Your mom's a hoe. There was more to it, but I keep getting cut off. I can't say anymore.
Okay. What were we talking about?
Call out culture and cancel culture and like.
Yeah. Okay. So
activism.
people were like calling out influencers basically, and being like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
You are about that.
And then influencers were like, "Yeah."
I think influencers are the worst at like the fake apologies too.
I think influencers are so stupid. And I think that because they are.
I think that because I know, okay?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much. Because, like, okay.
But you have, like, a decent Instagram following. You're not stupid. Like, if you're not, like, an influencer.
Yeah, I don't think I'm an influencer. I'm talking about, like,
You
James Charles.
You were the face of, like, an entire, like, app.
I was the face of a gay dating app in China called Blued. And I think it's still going on now, but I'm not the face of it anymore. Yes. But here's the thing, and we're going to move on to our next topic, which is COVID and quarantine and stuff, is that there has been influencers, especially on TikTok, which are just like these young kids. They have this house called the Hype House, and they all have like parties there. And a lot of people are calling them out because they're not wearing masks and stuff. And I think that, I think it's really stupid that they're not wearing masks and that they're
They call it, like,
idiots.
Logan Paul, too.
Yeah. Like Logan Paul, the Jake
Like,
Paul
you
and
need to
Logan
be
Paul. Like,
called out for anything else at this point, truthfully.
well, it's like influencers want to be. The point of an influencer is to influence like purchases, and the way to do that is like you're supposed to be relatable, but these influencers are so out of touch that they're not relatable at all.
Right,
You know
and
what I
I think
mean?
it's something where it's like you have, especially at that volume, you have such a large audience and such a large following that like, and I'd hate to be like, well, you didn't ask to do this, but you kind of did because you asked. You were like, you are trying to be an influencer. You're trying to reach an audience and trying to influence them to do things. So for you to be like, oh, I'm partying. It's okay for you to party during COVID. You don't need to social distance. You don't need to take precautions.
And here's another thing, you guys, and it also relates back to our cancel culture piece, but Jeffree Star is nasty, but Jeffree Star,
I don't know her. I forgot.
he's like a big makeup influencer, and like he has been called out for being racist. I think he one time called a black woman like a gorilla.
Oh, cockroach. It was a cockroach.
Oh, okay. And he got like into a fight with Jackie Aina too. And here's the thing is that he cannot get canceled because people still support him. And he did an apology video once, twice, 3 times, you know, however many times. But he has still shown to me that he has no true, like, heartfelt apology. He has no growth and he has no atonement. And for me, I think that is a cancelable offense.
Person.
Yeah, because, well, they're trying to dig up, like, his past and be like, he called the black woman this, he's been racist in the past, and blah, blah, blah. And his fans are like, no, he's changed. But in reality, he hasn't changed.
It's
And
like
I
a
don't see
blind
anything.
following. Oh my gosh, please. Yeah, I think there's a lot of blind following with people like that, and like, same with like Kat Von D. I feel like Kat Von D kind of got canceled, and they were kind of. I know that they had beef for.
Yeah, they had like a fight or something.
Yeah, and like Kat Von D has done a lot of really bad shit too. Like, didn't she do like a Nazi photo shoot or something? And like, one of her lipstick was like one of her like sick names was like super controversial. Or
Yeah, it was like called like underage or something.
Yeah.
I was saying, have you ever seen like a post from like a brand and it's like obviously tone deaf and you're like obviously there's
Nobody thought about this at all.
Yeah, you can tell like, oh, there's no person of color on that marketing team.
Yeah, like the little boy in the little black boy in the H&M ad that said like I'm a little monkey or something
Yeah, I'm
like
like a
that.
monkey or something.
I was like, and his
Like-
mom brought him here. Okay.
Well, like I get it. Like my dad calls like Boo Boo a monkey too, but like someone on that team had to be like, that's a black child in something that says he's a monkey, and
you can call somebody a monkey in a cute way.
Yeah, and like for like years and years and years, there's all this racial kind of like history of white people comparing black people to monkeys or apes and gorillas and stuff. So obviously there was no person on that team that was black, or at least of color, that thought it would be a problem.
Or even like the Pepsi commercial with Kendall Jenner, and like
that was so tone deaf. Yeah.
I mean, my feelings towards them as a family in general are not. I'm not a fan. Definitely not a stan. But I think like anybody walking into that would have been like, why would you think that it was okay?
Okay, we gotta move on though. We gotta move on to COVID. Because the game was dying, y'all.
We're not.
It has like one bar.
Oh, okay. COVID.
Yeah, so anyways, as I was saying, all these TikTokers are like having these parties and they're not wearing any masks, and they're just kind of like, fuck masks, bitch.
Fuck COVID, fuck you, grandma.
So I think that it's very irresponsible for them to be doing that, not only because it influences their younger audience, but it's also contributing to the fact that California rates are like climbing. In Orange County, which is where I'm from, I live in Anaheim. In the beginning, people were not wearing masks, and then they started, in the Asian areas, they started wearing masks like really, really heavily. And my roommate had masks, and I was like, I don't really want to wear a mask because it's not mandated, so I'm not going to wear one. And then as soon as I got here, I started wearing one. Like,
you didn't wear a mask in California?
I think I had one.
But like not a whole lot, not like active.
I would wear it to like the grocery store and stuff. But anywhere else, not really. Because I left right before the mask mandate, I think. Because I left right before...
It was like early May? Mid-May?
Like mid-May. I left mid-May, and everyone there seemed to be like complying, and like everything started to shut down and stuff. And masks were not like mandated yet. But then once I left, I think it took like a month to be like, okay, Orange County, you have to start wearing masks. And people were like, fuck masks. For some reason, Orange County is crazy. Okay? Like, I went to Huntington Beach to see the bioluminescence, and people out there are insane. Like, the beach is closed, but everyone was there.
Yeah.
And then that week, the governor was like, okay, there's too many people, I'm shutting down beaches. And the beach was open for like one weekend.
Yeah, I remember like I went to Huntington Beach last year and honestly had like a really good time. I thought it was like a very good community to go to, and I thought it was like a fun time. I thought it was a cute beach.
I like the beach. The community is disgusting.
I mean,
you
yeah.
ever been somewhere and you can like, I can feel the conservativeness. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got that too. Don't get me wrong, but like, I guess I'm just stuck in the romanticized parts of it. But no, like I had a good time. So when people are like, oh, people in Huntington Beach are like protesting to go to the beach because they're privileged and they think they have a right to just go wherever they want and not wear a mask during a pandemic, where like, and don't get me wrong, at the beginning of this, I was like, it's just the flu, it's not that big of a deal, it'll blow over, people are blowing it out of proportion, just like most people were. But then the more and more like that came out, and people were like, well, things are coming out every day and they're different. I'm like, yeah, because it's changing every day. Like, this is something we've never dealt with before. So to be like, well, we don't know what's going to happen, so we can't just stop. It's like, we don't know what's going to happen, so we should stop. Like, that's not, I just don't understand that argument.
And you guys, I have a scientific background. My major was in biology, and I can tell that people in America are stupid. Because the scientific process is like, okay, it's a hypothesis, and then research, and then the conclusion, and then if that conclusion is not if your conclusion doesn't support your hypothesis, then you have to have a new hypothesis, and the research starts all over again. So people who are not informed, people who are not people who don't understand the scientific process are seeing all these results happen in real time, and that, because they don't understand science and they're not educated, that makes people like Dr. Fauci, is it?
Fauci?
Fauci?
I don't know.
Fauci, whatever.
That guy.
That guy, it makes him seem discredited, and it makes it seem it makes the CDC seem untrustworthy. But in fact, in reality, it is a scientific process that's currently happening.
Also, what are you going to believe otherwise? Are you going to believe
I know,
like
who
somebody
believe?
that doesn't have a science background or like barely passed the high school science class or is like, COVID's not real?
Yeah.
He said it's not real.
But
it's not
no,
real.
I can, and this really made me see that Americans are very, very, one, stubborn, but also two, uneducated.
And selfish.
And yes, very selfish. Because, like I said, they don't understand the scientific process. This is a new disease, it's a new virus. We have no information on it. At the beginning, I was like, why are people wearing a mask? Because viruses can, like, you know,
You can still transfer.
yeah, you can still transfer, and especially because you're touching your mask and you're touching things.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm not quite sure if, you know, masks are the way to go. And then research came out that, you know, if you're wearing a mask and someone else is wearing a mask, then the transmission rate is less because of the water droplets are being stopped by the mask. So, like I was saying, research is happening every day and new data is coming out, but I don't think Americans understand the scientific process, nor do they want to read about it, and nor do they want to know
They don't want to
about
feel any more overwhelmed than what they are. Like,
Yeah.
I know people have gotten into arguments and debates with people who are like, well, people should just be able to live their lives. If I get sick and I die, then it's my choice. And it's like, but that's not someone else's choice. I mean, you want
Yeah.
to reopen things, you have to put retail workers in place. You have to put all these frontline workers in place, and you're endangering these people who want no part of this. I mean, there have been numerous doctors, nurses, a lot of medical staff who have committed suicide because they just don't know what to do.
Yeah, you guys, my mom is a nurse, and like, she works in hospice, so all of her patients are very, very old and they're dying, and she has had patients that have had COVID and that have already passed away. And when she goes to work, she wears like a face mask. She wears 2 face masks.
She wears a shield too.
And she does wear a shield. So she has like one of the surgeon masks and then another mask over it, and then also a face shield. And she, for a brief period, she had to get tested like every week. Because there was,
so uncomfortable.
I know, and there was like an outbreak at one of the campuses, so they had to like figure out like, okay, who's bringing in COVID and who is it and like what. Yeah, they had to do all this research, but for a period, yes, she did get tested for like a month straight. And my grandparents have already had like friends that have passed away because of COVID.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had friends who have passed from COVID too.
Yeah. So it's like a real thing, and Americans are so selfish that they're like, well, I don't want to wear a mask, so I shouldn't wear a mask. And if I want to die, then I can die. But
Which is okay, and that's fine if that's how you feel, but you can't go into a business that is, like, has that mandate where you have to wear a mask and then just demand that I don't have to because I don't want to.
yeah, well, that's the thing is like saying that I don't care if I die. That's basically saying that like, oh, I don't care if you die either. In
Right.
a way.
And then that's the way that it's kind of being looked at
Yeah.
because that's what you're doing by not
Because
protecting
your
yourself.
deaths are like linked. Do you know what I mean? Like if
Right.
you're sick, then you're gonna affect someone else.
Right, because there are other people, because there are places where you just can't take the necessary precautions. I mean, I work at a pain clinic, and we were completely online. We did everything online, and at some point we had to go back and be in clinic, and that honestly was terrifying for all of us. Like, how do you take the precautions? How do you take the measures? Where you're going to deal with people who don't believe it, or are having issues and they can't wear a mask for a health reason, or you have to be careful because what if I'm going out? What if I catch it and I could give it to somebody else? And I mean, I think maybe your mom has dealt with this too, like especially if they had to figure out who is bringing COVID into all these facilities. It's like you have to then rotate staff through. It's so much more
Yeah.
work. Nobody's ever dealt with this before, so nobody knows what to do.
Yeah, and you guys, if my mom can wear 3 masks, you can wear 1 mask to like go to the grocery
Did you
store.
see the guy that wore like 15 masks and like jogged a mile after smoking like
Yeah,
a couple
I saw
cigarettes?
that.
Like, and I'm fine. And I was like,
Yeah,
basically.
people are like, have you seen the Orange County, they open like the debates and they let the public like, the camera's dying. But anyways, so in Orange County they like let the public speak, and one lady was like, why would you let God, he made oxygen, we're supposed to breathe oxygen, this mask is
You're
suffocating
still
us.
putting oxygen with the mask on.
And I'm
though.
like, why are you so dumb? Why is Orange County so fucking stupid? So yes, you guys, coronavirus is like a real thing.
And also,
It's not a
why would
hoax.
it be not real here, but real everywhere else in the world? Like, why do you...
Like I said, I am so jealous of every other country that has it under control.
Right, I think...
Like, South Korea got it the same day as us, and look at South Korea now.
Right, and like, I think New Zealand had its first case, like in 102 days that is contracted, and they're only local now because people are still coming in and out, and I think, like, Thailand or, like, Laos is kind of the same way right
And
now.
like Vietnam, I think.
Yeah, one of the Southeast Asian countries are like, yeah, we haven't had a case in over 100 days.
You know, we had an exchange student from Korea that came, and he had to go back to Korea, and he was in the hospital for like 2 months because he kept on testing positive, and then guess what? He's back. He came back.
Why?
I don't know. I was
Where's
like,
he staying now?
he's staying with a new host family, and my little sister went over there, and his host family's dad is like an anti-masker. Isn't that disgusting?
I went to a wedding where someone was an anti-masker, and I was like, I need
This
to
is
stay
disgusting.
far away.
Like, ew.
No,
No, but like, when you go out, you can really see. First of all, white people. This is like their big like oppression moment.
it is. It's weird because it's like I finally have something that I can advocate.
Yeah.
That people are telling me I cannot do something, and I'm going to take it.
White people are like, I don't want to wear a mask, and we're here like, please stop shooting black people.
Like, but I don't want to wear a mask though.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Like, I'm like, that's not the same thing, but okay.
When I say this, please understand that I don't go to a lot of protests anymore because honestly it's very tiring and it's not mentally healthy for me to do all the time every day. And I work a full-time job. Like I said, my dad is high risk. I try to minimize certain things. But a lot of counter protesters or people that show up to protest.
You are the anti-mask.
They're
girl.
anti-maskers.
Oh,
I went to a
gross,
protest
girl.
last week in Woodbury and there was, first of all,
What if she spit on you?
bikers from... Oh my god, I think that's why some of them go out there is to get people sick. That's completely conspiracy. I don't know if it's a fact or not. But...
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
That's
Oh
too
my gosh, what's that from? What meme is that?
I don't know. I don't think
Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's a meme. But no, there are so many people who are anti-maskers that go out to these counter-protests, which is like you're already counter-protesting something that is like a real thing, so you're already stupid. And then you're not wearing a mask to these public events where people are like angry, and I've seen people get in other people's faces, and I'm like, bro, you gotta back up. Like,
Back up, honey.
I've seen protesters and like
Isn't
have
it
cops come
assault if they spit on you? I
Yeah.
think it is, yeah. Or
Um,
attempted murder or something.
at this point maybe. But I've seen protesters wearing masks will be like, please don't talk to me unless you back up 6 feet or you're wearing a mask because I don't want to be near you. And I think that's a very valid thing. Like, I've been in line at like Target recently or like Ulta, and you know how like they have stickers where it's like, please stay 6 feet back.
Yeah.
And people are like right on my back, and I'm like, please back up. Like,
Dude,
I'm
I'm
trying
like-
to move away.
What will it take for a person to back up from me in fucking line?
I love
Apparently not a
masks.
pandemic.
I love masks. I don't have to talk to anybody. I put my AirPods in when I walk into I was doing that before. But I don't have to talk to anybody. Nobody can see my face.
You know, when quarantine happened, I was like, this is sickening. Like, I already do nothing anyway.
And now no one can be mad at me for it.
Yeah.
That
But-
was me the first 2 weeks.
But I was like, at the same time, I'm not like everyone else. Some people need to like go out and like
My
do stuff.
brother's girlfriend's dad would go to grocery stores just to like walk around because he needed to socialize.
Yeah, like some people have to do things like being inside will like drive them crazy.
They're just not introverted, which
Yeah,
is
I'm
okay. And I am.
I'm like, can I just stay in bed?
I'm actually 51% extrovert, 49% introvert. I took a test and I was like,
What test
why?
is this?
I don't remember the name of it, but it was like, why me? Why am I the victim? Why can't I figure out who I want to be in life?
Gross. Okay. Anyways, we have to close this video because like our camera's
camera's
dying.
dying.
So our closing topic is plants.
Oh my gosh. I have a stepchild. His name is Choco, and he's a plant of some sort. He has leaves. He's green.
I thought you knew what plant it was. Is it Miguel's?
Yeah, we went to Menards, and he's like, I want a plant. This is my child. And I was like, I'm paying no child support. That's not my baby. Sorry.
He said, "Fuck this plant."
I was like, I didn't sign up to be a stepmom. I'm too young to be a stepmom. I'm 24. I don't want kids.
I love plants, and
I love bread.
my roommate loves plants, and every time he would go out, he would like bring home a new plant. I'm like, okay, that's too many plants. But he likes plants, and I like flowers.
That's true.
because his plants are like house, like indoor plants, like they have green leaves, but they don't really flower. I like flowers, so I have like a bunch of plumeras. I have a bunch of milkweeds for my butterflies, and I have like a lot of orchids.
Calvin also planted and cultivated a whole flower field for a friend of ours' wedding.
Yes, I did do that, and I also stole a lot of flowers. Do you know that?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I did steal a lot of flowers, but whatever, it's fine.
Arrest him now. Try it.
But yes, I love plants, you guys. Do I know how to take care of plants? Not really, but...
Me neither. I don't know. Water it, I guess. I have a plant at work that I water sometimes. His name is Boris.
You name your plants?
I named that one. I think we collectively as like a team named him. Miguel named his plant Choco. I don't know.
What is Choco?
It's not my kid. I don't know.
Because Choco Kitty.
Oh, Choco, he said like could be a boy or a girl, and he's like, I don't know, maybe they haven't figured it out yet. I was like, okay.
Yeah, but in quarantine, people are getting into plants, girl.
Plants so much.
And there was like
wants to be a plant
drama
mom.
about plant community. It's like something about like rare plants.
Y'all be making beef up just to have beef.
Yeah, it was like rare plants, and like it's not like environmentally friendly to have like these rare plants, and I was like, okay, they're plants, but I get it, but at the same time, like it's plants. Plants. What else can we say about plants? Plants. They're green.
You get more oxygen. I mean, I think they're beneficial. I think it's responsibility.
What's your least favorite plant?
Poison ivy.
I was gonna say that.
Oh,
I hate grass.
Like what kind of grass? Like Minnesota
lawn?
grass or like California? Because California grass is different and it's like rough and it's dry, but grass here is like soft.
I don't like grass. I don't like people who like their lawn. Like white people that love like mowing their lawn and like
My
taking
dad
care
loves
of
to
it.
mow his lawn.
I think that's disgusting. I hate the smell of fresh cut grass.
Oh my gosh, really?
I think it's so gross. And I also don't like lawn because that's not the way that like grass is supposed to grow.
Oh gosh.
Grass is like supposed to grow.
You don't
and
even
then
like it
die.
anyway.
I know, but grass is like long grass, like in the prairies, is supposed to grow and then die, and then that becomes a new soil. So when people like do like this type of grass, one, it's like fertilizer runs down into the rivers, and then two, it doesn't allow for soil to actually be made and stuff. Hey everyone, I forgot where we were and the camera died, so we gotta go.
It's about to die again. But thanks
Bye.
for watching. Bye.
Fuck.